Please, Kathleen Kennedy, stop ruining everything. But Kathleen Kennedy is all like, put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more f***ing lame. And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like, no, what's going on with my stocks? No, Kathleen Kennedy. Ah!
She's not white, but she should be. Snow White needs to be white.
Waiting on a wing.
We've already covered how Rachel Zegler is a terrible choice for Snow White. Nothing about her says Snow White, and that's even leaving aside the fact that she openly detests the story, as she's said many times during this disastrous PR campaign.
South Park just detonated a comedy bomb right in the heart of Disney's Magic Kingdom, and the shockwaves are still rattling Hollywood. But was their latest special just another round of edgy jokes, or did Trey Parker and Matt Stone stumble upon a truth Disney desperately tried to hide? The fallout involves a classic fairy tale turned cultural battleground, a star whose comments ignited a firestorm, and a legendary animation studio seemingly lost in its own narrative. This isn't just about cartoon characters, it's about a clash between nostalgia, progress, and the audience that's caught in the middle. What unfolded reveals cracks not just in a single movie, but potentially in the entire foundation of modern entertainment strategy.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Let's be honest, Disney's been walking a public relations tightrope lately, hasn't it? For years, the House of Mouse seemed untouchable, but their recent strategy, particularly with live-action remakes, has felt less like magic and more like homework. Every announcement seems geared towards ticking diversity boxes. Every modern twist feels less like innovation and more like a corporate memo on inclusivity. While representation is crucial, audiences started smelling something cynical, a desperate chase for applause rather than genuine storytelling. Classics were being rewritten, characters fundamentally changed, and the once unshakable trust between Disney and its fans began to erode. This simmering discontent created the perfect environment for a takedown. And then came Snow White, a remake practically begging for trouble, stepping right into the crosshairs.
It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
From the jump, the live-action Snow White felt different, maybe even cursed. The moment Disney announced the project, the internet's collective eyebrow raised. First, the casting of Rachel Zegler, a talented Latina actress, immediately sparked debate. How would this align with the character famously described as having skin as white as snow? While many championed the move for diversity, others saw it as the first sign Disney was prioritizing modern messaging over faithfulness to the source material. But the casting controversy was just the opening act. The real PR nightmare began when Zegler herself started talking. In interviews, she described the original 1937 animated classic in ways that sounded, well, less than affectionate. She openly criticized the original plot, labeling the prince's actions as weird and stalker-like, laughing off the iconic romance that formed the core of the fairy tale for generations. It wasn't just a modern take, it felt like disdain for the very story she was hired to embody. The seeds of backlash were sown early, and they were about to sprout uncontrollably, catching the attention of satire's sharpest duo.
Okay. Mom, I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman.
Oh, not again.
Yeah.
Enter Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the undisputed masters of satirical mayhem. Seeing the cultural chaos brewing around Disney and the broader entertainment industry, they did what they do best. They pointed, laughed, and turned the absurdity up to 11. Their Paramount Plus special, Joining the Panderverse, wasn't just a critique, it was a full-blown comedic assault. The special cleverly flipped the script, centering on Eric Cartman terrified by dreams where he and his friends are replaced by diverse women who complain about the patriarchy. The genius stroke? Cartman, arguably one of television's most notoriously offensive characters, becomes the mouthpiece for anxieties about forced diversity initiatives. When PC Principal condescendingly mocks the boys for potentially disliking a female Indiana Jones or a black Spider-Man, South Park wasn't just making jokes. It was holding up a mirror to the often toxic discourse surrounding representation in Hollywood, skewering the predictable defenses and accusations lobbed by both sides. It pulled zero punches, and Disney was clearly one of its prime targets. But they didn't stop at general Hollywood satire. They took aim at specific powerful figures, adding fuel to an already raging fire.
You think it's perfectly normal that Cartman is suddenly a black woman?
You probably don't like that Indiana Jones got replaced by a female either, huh? Probably have a problem with Black Spider-Man, too.
One figure caught squarely in South Park's sights was Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilm. In a now infamous scene, the show depicts a Disney executive character clearly modeled after Kennedy, barking orders to inject diversity into classic stories purely for the sake of it. The line, "Put a chick in it, make her gay," instantly became legendary, encapsulating years of fan frustration, particularly regarding recent Star Wars projects under Kennedy's leadership. This wasn't just a random gag, it tapped directly into a wellspring of criticism alleging that established franchises were being dismantled and altered to fit contemporary political agendas, often at the expense of coherent storytelling or respect for legacy characters. The internet exploded. Conservatives and critics of woke media hailed South Park as fearless truth-tellers. Even figures like Elon Musk and Donald Trump Jr. amplified the special's message. It perfectly captured the feeling that powerful executives were prioritizing optics over art. While Kennedy was getting roasted, the star of Disney's upcoming fairy tale adaptation wasn't exactly helping her own cause back on Earth, making statements that only deepened the existing concerns.
Kathleen Kennedy is down on set right now, ruining the new Bambi movie.
Any diverse woman in it, make it gay.
Bambi's a baby deer.
Fuck baby deer, put a chick in it, make her gay.
If the Snow White production was already skating on thin ice, Rachel Zegler seemed determined to grab a pickaxe and smash it. Her initial comments were just the beginning. As the promotional tour ramped up, or perhaps ramped down, Zegler doubled down on her critique of the original. In clip after clip, she radiated an energy that many interpreted as arrogance and disdain for the 1937 film. She famously declared the new Snow White isn't dreaming of love, but of leadership. She's not waiting for a prince, but forging her own path. The iconic song "Someday My Prince Will Come," reportedly replaced with anthems about ambition and self-reliance. Fair enough, a modern update perhaps, but Zegler's delivery often felt less like empowerment and more like an indictment of anyone who enjoyed the original's themes. She suggested people who didn't like the new direction could simply avoid the movie, a remarkably dismissive attitude towards potential audiences. Perhaps most damaging was her casual remark about the Prince actor Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. Whether a joke or not, it landed like a lead balloon, fueling speculation that the male lead was being minimized or even removed entirely. It played directly into the narrative that this remake wasn't just updating Snow White, but fundamentally erasing its core elements, particularly the romance. The Daily Mail called her comments a woke tirade, and film critics accused her of trashing a beloved classic cinematic heresy in the eyes of many Disney fans who cherish nostalgia above all else. This PR nightmare was compounded by chaos behind the scenes.
You were telling us about the South Park thing?
Oh my god, dude. Jamie, have you seen the new South Park?
I definitely saw clips of it.
It is so funny. First of all, Cartman has been replaced by a black trans woman.
As if Zegler's words weren't generating enough negative heat, the production itself seemed to stumble into one controversy after another, particularly surrounding the Seven Dwarfs. Initial reports suggested the dwarves might be cut entirely to avoid stereotypes, a move that itself drew criticism. Then came leaked set photos showing not dwarves, but a diverse group of magical creatures of varying heights and genders. The backlash was immediate and fierce. Fans mocked the designs, and crucially, actors from the dwarfism community spoke out, pointing out the hypocrisy of removing roles specifically suited for them in the name of progress. Peter Dinklage had initially criticized the original's portrayal, leading Disney down this path, but other actors with dwarfism lamented the loss of potential work. Then, facing intense criticism over the CGI look of these replacements described by some as escaping from an uncanny valley nightmare, rumors began swirling that Disney had ordered extensive reshoots, potentially bringing back performers with dwarfism or refining the CGI approach. Whether true or not, the reports painted a picture of a production in chaos, reacting clumsily to waves of negative feedback and unsure of its own creative direction. The entire dwarf debacle became a symbol of Disney's confused attempt to modernize a classic, managing to alienate multiple groups in the process. All this turmoil set the stage for a wave of public mockery and grim predictions.
About the stereotype.
Right.
This is about roles that were made for people such of my stature that don't
The long-delayed, controversy-stuffed woke Snow White didn't just underperform, it ghosted the cultural moment entirely.
So what's the real takeaway from this tangled mess of fairy tale revisionism, PR missteps, and brutal satire? It's a story where corporate strategy collided head-on with audience expectations. Disney, in its push for modern relevance and inclusive storytelling, seemed to misjudge how fiercely protective fans are of beloved classics. Rachel Zegler, perhaps trying too hard to project a contemporary image, became a lightning rod for criticism, her words weaponized by those already skeptical of Disney's direction. And South Park, with its signature blend of crudeness and sharp insight, simply poured gasoline on the fire, articulating the frustrations of millions in a way that cut deeper than any critical review could. The saga of the Snow White remake serves as a potent reminder that rewriting fairy tales isn't just about changing plots, it's about navigating deeply ingrained cultural attachments. Is this just a temporary stumble for the House of Mouse, a costly lesson learned? Or has the audience's patience with forced narratives and perceived disrespect for legacy finally reached a breaking point, potentially altering the Magic Kingdom forever? Only time and perhaps the next controversial remake will tell.